Hey there everyone, Video Game Cabinet here, and tonight we're doing a review on Mega Man 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Mega Man 2 has been one of my favorite NES games for a long time. 20 years ago, I bought this authentic CIB, but I only beat the game on emulation with save states back then. So yesterday, I decided to finally run through the game on the authentic cart, and I beat it this morning on normal mode. Mega Man 2 is famous as one of the most popular and influential NES games ever made. I never played its predecessor, Mega Man 1, but my understanding is that Mega Man 2 allowed you to gain each boss's weapons after you beat them at the end of a level, as well as receive extra abilities from Dr. Light, and this gives way to far more gameplay variety. The weapons I used the most were Quick Man's boomerangs and Metal Man's saws, but every weapon is fun to use. Dr. Light's tools were essential for much of the platforming segments in the final stretch of the game. As far as action platformers go on the NES, Mega Man 2 is one of the best and most creative you will see. Each level is unique, varied, and loads of fun. The platforming is challenging and requires precision from the tight controls. Every boss is memorable and gives you a great tool to use for the rest of your run. Mega Man 2 is not a long game, but being able to select what stage you want to go to in whatever order you want makes for great replay value. And the best part of it all is the outstanding soundtrack. This is without question one of the top few best soundtracks in the whole NES library. Just about every single track is an absolute banger. My personal favorites are the stage songs for Flashman, Airman, Bubbleman, Quickman, and Dr. Wily's Castle. I still listen to these tunes every so often, multiple decades later. Mega Man 2 is an outstanding representation for what makes retro gaming so great and memorable. It's easy to pick up and play, but hard to master. Each level and enemy is completely different from the last. The controls and game mechanics are tight and polished, and the entire soundtrack is unforgettable. I give Mega Man 2 a 9.5 out of 10. It easily places in the top 10 best NES games ever made. So that's my review. The series that I did a couple months back on my top 35 NES games, I did put this on there, having beaten it on emulation years ago, but now just beating on the authentic cart this morning. But yeah, I did put it on the list. I think it was number 7. It absolutely belongs in the top 10 NES games ever made. And yeah, I'm glad to have finally beaten it legit without save states. But yeah, I've always known it's absolutely one of my favorite NES games ever. Like I said, I did beat it on normal mode. I tried a little bit of hard mode. My understanding is that I read online that the Japanese version had one mode, and then when they released it in America, they made that the hard mode and made normal mode a lot easier. So on hard mode, which is the Japanese normal mode, I guess, or the only mode in Japanese, I tried it for a little bit. I got through one of the stages, but the bosses take a lot longer. They take a lot more hits to finish. And I can tell you that on American normal mode, it's easy when you're going through the initial several stages with the sub-bosses, but once you enter the final stretch of the game, it's hard no matter what, even on normal, easy American mode, whatever you want to call it. It gets very difficult, very challenging towards the end. But yeah, so it's really good no matter how you play it. I don't have too much experience with most of the other games in this series, except for Mega Man X. I grew up with this game on the Super Nintendo. This was the first Mega Man game I played back when I was like, back when this came out, I think in the early 90s. And I loved it. But Mega Man 2, I played in high school. I'm 40 now, so this is like over 20 years ago. But, recently, yeah, so the only two that I've played a lot are Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X. But recently I picked up Mega Man 3. Eventually I'll have to run through that. And I got the Japanese versions of Rockman, as it's called in Japan, Rockman 4 and 5. So eventually I'll play these. And I have Mega Man 1 and 6 on emulation on a multi-cart that I can play whenever I want. They're a little bit expensive to buy CIB, but we'll see. And then there's plenty of others. I know Mega Man X2 and Mega Man X3 came out. The series is very long. But like I said, the only ones that I've played a lot of are Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. And both are great games. Yeah, absolutely 9.5 for Mega Man 2. Mega Man X, maybe I'll replay it sometime soon. That's either a 9 or a 9.5. That one was also really, really a great game. But anyways, yeah, so that's my review of Mega Man 2, and that's all for tonight. Have a good night.